guess a lot of people are probably interested in, you know, I'm not too sure I want my kid to have a laptop 24/7. And what kind of responsibility is that? This is $1,000. What does that mean to each one of the students? To be honest with you, I look at it as this is no different than a textbook in terms of responsibility of the child. What do you, in terms of, I mean, it is still, I mean, what happens if you drop it? What happens if it slips out of a backpack? And we've done a great deal of research in terms of what are other schools that are doing this, trying to do to make mom and dad rest easy at night, okay? One of the things we do have is we do provide a supplemental insurance policy. $5 gives you bumper-to-bumper coverage for an entire year. If it falls out of your backpack and breaks, nope. I mean, if that's what happens, bring it in, give it to the tech department. They give you a new one until it's fixed, and they give it back. You get it back. For $25, people can rest at ease. Well, what happens? What happens if somebody steals my kids? That's another question that we've had. Funny thing is, the schools that have gone one-to-one, we were just at the Greater Latrobe School District. They have 1,100 students, 10 through 12. They're a one-to-one school, have been for 7 years. They've had 5 laptops stolen, and they've done this for 5 years. So how do they do it? What do they do? Because everybody has one, they attribute that to it. But what about the idea of, hey, I'm going to take it out, and there's somebody on the street and I sell it to them for $100 and come in and say, hey, I lost my laptop. If that's a concern of yours as well, we do have, it's called LoJack that is offered to parents. They can have it installed onto the laptop, and that is roughly, you know, $15, $20 to have that. And we can pinpoint down where that piece of equipment is and just turn it over to the police. They recover it for us. So, a couple things that we've actually taken a look at in terms of providing to the community to hopefully make mom and dad rest a little easier about that. Yes?
I have 2 questions. The first is, what if they don't charge it? You know, what if they come and say, oh, I can't do my work today because I didn't charge?
What if I didn't come to class with my textbook, or if I didn't come to class with my... These are things that are going to be classroom management issues.
That's why they're updating the electricity.
And that is true, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because those are things that we are looking at. We're having power strips in the classroom. Right now, the average classroom has 2 outlets, one in the front and one in the back. That's something they couldn't accommodate something along this line. But with the renovation taking place, that's why all of this ties in together so well. There will be, you know, power strips throughout the rooms. The science rooms that Dr. Carrico was talking about, each station that a kid's at will be able to plug in. And that's just one of those things that over time, kids are going to say, hey, I know I need this for, you know, Mr. Stahl's class quite a bit, so I got to make sure that I'm powered up and ready to go. We have a vision software that allows every teacher to see the screen of every computer in the classroom. So that, again, that's another classroom management issue. We've always had the issue of what if a kid brings in something that's inappropriate from home, whether it be a magazine or whatever. It becomes a classroom management issue again in the classroom. The vision software allows us to do that. Our WebSense server it's the best out there. Are there ways around it? There are. But every day I get an email that tells me that the kids are trying, it's called a proxy avoidance. It's trying to go away around the filter. And it's funny because I'll call in the student and I'll say, hey, so tell me a little bit about air proxy. And their eyes light up like, how did you know about air proxy? Well, it tells me about this. So right now the word's been spread, and I've been very good about explaining to the kids that this is a tool, and if you use the tool appropriately, you continue to use the tool. Obviously, if you don't, then the tool's no longer available to you. And that's addressed in our acceptable use policy, which I got a copy to Dr. Carrico. It's an updated version that addresses going one-to-one and addresses technology needs throughout the district, K to 12, in terms of making updates throughout. So it's a very nice piece. It does, you know, it just asks students to be responsible. It doesn't ask, I don't think it asks them to do anything that they wouldn't normally do. And I'm a firm believer that 97% of the people that you run into are good people. We should never allow the 3% dictate to the 97. Yes.
Question, when a student is assigned, I'm assuming assigned a laptop, is that laptop gonna follow them the whole way through? They're gonna have that laptop each year?
And I'm gonna say that there is a little bit of a well, I can say yes for most of it. Freshmen are going to get a year-old machine, an older machine, and it's just because freshmen are freshmen. They need to be acclimated to how it's going to be used and the demands of it. As they go through, at their sophomore year, they'll get a brand new machine, and then they'll move on in terms of having that brand new machine. Hopefully, if they pass the PSSA, both math and reading, and complete their graduation project, they have a fairly nice machine when they walk out the door. Summers, they stay here, and that allows us to do general repairs, updates in terms of software, things of that nature. I guess another question was, what if I don't want my child to take it home? I just don't feel comfortable with it. We do have charging stations here where it's kind of going to be like the library. You'll go to the library in the morning, sign it out using the scanner. The USB number would be scanned, you get the laptop, return it at the end of the day, that type of a responsibility. But there is a plan for parents if they so choose not to let their student take the laptop home. We encourage they do take it, because and one of the things we're hoping is that kids are going to collaborate using these things. Maybe you don't have to go out in poor weather to do a group project. They get online and share information that way. With the renovation project that's taking place here, we have right now 3 computer labs at the high school. Obviously going one-to-one, every room's a computer lab now. So we will be, it's a process obviously as the renovation takes place. The timing for this couldn't have been better because I keep hearing Dr. Carrica say, don't worry, everything will be fine, we'll find room for everyone. But the idea of moving people from place to place during a renovation makes me a little nervous. Knowing that I have a couple classrooms that are no longer dedicated solely for the purpose of a computer lab, it makes me feel a little more at ease in terms of I can now put people here and I can put a classroom here, because it is a classroom, just like any other classroom. And now each and every classroom will have the same capabilities of a computer lab. One of the labs that we are reclaiming, we're turning into a training facility for all of our staff district-wide. It'll have every piece of equipment that we have in the district, and it'll allow for our classrooms for the future coaches, Keystone integrators, and elementary technology integrators to work with staff to give them the training necessary to implement this type of technology throughout the district. So it's nice to have a training facility that has every piece of equipment that you have out there, and it's simply, we're going to get a couple subs for our kindergartners. They're going to come up for half a day, and we go through all the training with them. And you just work through that based on the needs of those particular teachers. But that is the Dade County school system in Florida. Microsoft went there and created a one-stop shop site for students, parents, teachers, community members, where you can go in with a username and password, log on, and get all the resources that you would need in any one of those particular areas. Students could go in and see their tests, quizzes, assignments, homework, things of that nature. Obviously, parents could go in and take a look at grades, any events that are coming up on the school calendar. Staff members could share resources, and it all can be found in one particular place. As we're getting to that particular time, obviously we're using Moodle, and that's a different place that we have to click and go to out on the internet. And then we use our website to update our calendar. Well, that's a different website we have to go to. Eventually, it'd be nice that we could all go to one place. And the goal is to have 3 clicks get you to anywhere you need to be. That would be, I guess, as close to perfection in terms of technology as I guess we could ever get.
Do you need a wireless router at home then to use this computer?
No.
For your child to do homework from home?
That you have the option if you have a direct line to plug right in and do it that way. So wireless is obviously be used here within the building, but you go to ability to connect at home to a firewire or